Hello, hello, welcome back to my cozy corner on YouTube. My name is Brooke. I'm a knitter and enthusiast of all things creativity. I'm really grateful you're here. All right, today we're getting into it. I did a 2026 knitting planning video and I just kind of wanted to give an update to how that's going so far and what my winter plans are looking like as January has taken shape and we're heading into February. I have noticed that since making that video, I have felt such a sense of relief knowing what my next project's gonna be, that I have the yarn for it, that I have the pattern for it, I have the plans for that. And I think it's this sense of like the mental load is taken off of me because I've done the planning, but I still want there to be like a little bit of room for flexibility, creativity, and intuition. So I'm finding that kind of doing a year overhaul of like what are my overall goals and then maybe peppering in some seasonal updates I think is going to work great for me. So this is that seasonal update. By the way, what are you working on? What's on your to make list? Comment below. I would love to hear from you. It gives me so much inspiration and a sense of community to hear from you. Okay, so I'm currently working on the roomy raglan and I'm loving this pattern and I definitely want to make one more larger wearable winter item before we hit, I don't know, the end of March, just because it's been so cold in the Hudson Valley, like between like 0 and 10 degrees every day. And I would love to have like one more super cozy knit. This is my step-by-step sweater and I think it turned out okay. I am finding the yarn pills, so we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. I thought I was gonna make another one of these after the roomy raglan and now I'm kind of like, I don't know. I want to make one more larger wearable item this season, but I also want to start casting on some spring knits, which I know sounds crazy because it's very cold here. But again, now that it's February, I'm kind of like, well, March is going to be here soon and we might have some warm days in March. So we're going to talk about how I'm going to balance both of those. So starting with the roomy raglan, I always have the thought of like, do I just make another one of these? I had the same thought when I finished my step-by-step sweater. I was kind of like, well, I'll just knit another one of the same sweater because I enjoyed making it and I know how to make it. And I just feel so excited about new projects right now that I'm kind of like, I don't want to make another step-by-step sweater, at least not right now. So I think I'm going to use, I did order more of the drops Nepal yarn that you use for the step-by-step sweater. This is the colorway 300 and it's a little more gray here. It's more oatmeal in person, but I think I'm going to use this and mix it with colorway 6220, which is what this sweater is in, and make a dog sweater for the ever wonderful, beautiful, perfect Mocha, who you've met before on this channel. I think the pattern I'm going to try is the Edinburgh seamless dog sweater on Ravelry, just because it looks pretty simple to work up. And so I'm hoping to cast on one of those this winter, and that's my plan for this yarn and how I'm solving having more of that yarn that I'm like kind of finding, because I've worn this a couple times, it's pilling pretty fast. I think on a dog, there's not going to be as much friction against it, so that might work out. But I am seriously considering knitting another roomy raglan. I know. I just said that I finished a pattern and I want to work on other patterns, but I'm working on my roomy raglan in a really beautiful chocolatey brown color, and I've been seeing people work on them in colorful yarns, and I'm like, oh shit, why didn't I think of that? And I was at a yarn store in Waldwick, New Jersey recently, Knit Tapestry, and I'll include some images here of the beautiful yarn that I thought would make another gorgeous roomy raglan, just in terms of like similar like thickness, like almost like a worsted weight yarn. And I just thought having this in like something that's a little bit more fun, a little bit more colorful could be really cool too. So we'll see how I feel when I finish the first roomy raglan. If I don't finish another roomy raglan, I want my other wearable object to be something larger. So I'm considering one of 3 patterns, and I'd love for you to take a vote because I'm confused. I don't have the yarn for any of them, so I would have to acquire yarn. So basically, this is an investment piece, and tell me your thoughts on what you think it'd be best to invest in. I'm between the plain yoke sweater, the cumulus blouse, or the summer lotus pattern. The summer lotus pattern is probably more something that's wearable spring, summer, fall than it really would be this winter, but I do consider it a larger, obviously like a larger piece of knitwear. So that's kind of interesting to me because it could fit those in between seasons, especially with something underneath it. I love the V-neck of the cumulus blouse, but it also may be like slightly more difficult to achieve that, and I would love to just have this be like a quick, easy pattern, and I think the plain yoke sweater would be that. Like, it looks like it's pretty work-upable. That's a new term I'm coining today, work-upable. So that's kind of my thought, is between those three, and again, please vote, because I can't decide which to acquire the yarn for. Now, if I do another roomy raglan, I probably still knit one of these three. It just might be more like March or April when I get to it. So let me know what you think. But I guess between another roomy raglan and one of these three, I'm kind of torn. I need your input. Then I'm kind of in Beanie Island, because I'm casting on a beanie for someone who asked me to knit their friend a beanie, and I said yes. So here we are. So I'm going to be casting on another Perfect Day beanie in the Barocco vintage yarn, which is a blend, and it is machine washable, and I think that's going to be perfect for this person's use case. I talked a lot with the person who paid for the yarn for me to knit it about the use case and different yarn types, acrylic blends versus 100% natural fibers, and she felt really good about this yarn, so we're gonna go in and knit that beanie. But I have 3 more cotton and merino juniper moon farms balls, and you know I love these guys. You know, I've talked about it. They knit up the most beautiful Perfect Day beanie. This was like my first beanie that I took seriously. I've knit a couple others that were shit, and I love this one. I get a lot of compliments on it, and I'm finding that even though it's 70% cotton and 30% merino, that it's holding up beautifully. It's gotten me through the great 2026 blizzard, and I'm lots of shoveling and traveling and all this stuff, so really, really grateful for that yarn. After I finish the beanie that is for someone else, I'm probably going to go in and knit the Nola mittens in this number 5 chambray color to match the beanie. And then I would also like to knit another beanie. Probably going to use the lavender one first. I don't know. Tell me what you think below. I think the lavender. I got excited about these yarns, so I acquired more. So I may be a little sick of beanies after that, but that's okay. I think I kind of enjoy having a task that helps me perfect the craft, you know? So, and I love the pattern, the Perfect Day beanie pattern, so we'll get into those. Okay, and the last bigger project I want to cast on in this kind of like January through, I guess it's now February, oh my God. Okay, February through like end of March, beginning of April time is the camisole number 10. I attempted to knit this last year, and I was just too much of a beginner. It was too hard for me, but I feel so much more confident about it this year. And I picked up this gorgeous yarn from a brand called Woolfolk at a yarn store local to me in Cornwall, New York, just called the Cornwall Yarn Store. She's focusing more on a lot of local brands now. So I found this in her sale bin and got 5 skeins of it so I could knit camisole number 10, which is probably 50 grams more than I need, but I wanted to be safe. This yarn is a blend of Ovis 21 Ultimate Merino and 50% linen, and 50% merino might be a little bit heavy for spring, but she had a top knit out of it as an example, and it just had the most gorgeous lightweight texture and drape that I think the linen is going to do a lot of the heavy work here in terms of making it comfortable for spring. And this yarn, again, is showing up a little bit more gray colored. It's actually like a very, very soft peach, and I just think it's gonna be absolutely stunning for spring. So I'm feeling quite excited about that. And then there's a couple more like small projects if I have time, if I get to them. Super enamored by the Easiest triangle scarf. I just think that looks super fun, and I definitely have some scrap yarn I could use up in that pattern. And again, I think that'd be so nice for spring, just even with like a tank top or a t-shirt, just a little something different than a Sophie scarf, mixing it up. And I saw someone knit it recently on TikTok, and I thought that's a cool project, so I might embark on that one. And that would be a nice one to just kind of pack in my bag and bring to school and work on in between school breaks, on lunch breaks. If you don't know, I'm going back to school right now to become a cardiovascular sonographer, so that's taking up a lot of my brain space, and knitting is helping me get through studying. So stick around if you want to hear more about that as well. But I also really do want to make some simple scrunchies. I love the Soho scrunchie pattern. I think it's her name's Tori, I'm forgetting her last name, but I talked about it in my 2026 planning video about how I want to make some of those for Galentine's Day, Valentine's Day to give away. Now I'm under pressure to make this other hat for the friend of a friend by Valentine's Day, so I'm not sure if I can do scrunchies by then, because I also want to finish my roomy raglan by then. You know, there's a lot of knitting that's kind of calling to my attention, and I'm not really sure how to balance it all, but I do have a ton of yarn I think would be super cute doing scrunchies with. Let me show you some examples. I live in a studio apartment, so this is the side that has the bedroom, and then the other side of the same room has the living room. And on the other side, as you've probably seen in other videos, I built a beautiful yarn pegboard. So I just kind of took down my scrappy yarn bucket. This isn't quite scrap yarn because I haven't knit other projects with all of these yet, but it's scrappy yarn because it's a lot of like smaller balls, especially of mohair. A lot of things I just got on sale and stuff. But these are all like little samples of things that were left from a company called Cowgirl Blues. I got these at the Yarn Farm in Kingston, New York, and they're all just different little mohairs. And how fun would some super colorful mohair scrunchies be? Right? So that's definitely on the list for some point this quarter. Again, I was trying to do it before Valentine's Day. I'm not sure it's gonna happen, but we'll see. And then I have a little bit of what was left of a sample of the Lang silk color that I got at a yarn store in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Same with this little ball of Lang Ortaka. I'm not sure how to say it, but just this really fun neon green. And again, you do like this in a scrunchie. So cute. And then I have a little bit of this scrap yarn in this pile as well. I think this is like a cashmere blend, I'm forgetting, but I don't remember where this is from, what it is, but again, I just think how fun would a cotton candy scrunchie be? So those are the kind of things that are on my mind to knit during this season. We've got everything from like just like a plain classic yarn that I can use for camisole number 10 to like a very fun lavender hat. So I definitely am someone who loves wearing color and working with color and expressing myself through color, but I also want to make sure I'm focusing on knitting some basics. So in recap, I'm realizing this is maybe too much to focus on for the first quarter of the new year, especially given it's already February, but if we can't be overly ambitious about our crafting, what can we be overly ambitious about? So those are my plans, starting of course with finishing my first roomy raglan and casting on that hat, the Barocco vintage yarn. Again, tell me what's on your needles, and keep up with me on Instagram and TikTok. I kind of post what I'm working on there as often as I can. So I hope you're having a beautiful winter thus far and staying warm, staying cozy, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care.